Good day. My name is Carpo, and this is my tweed jacket. Actually, a good friend of mine gave this jacket to me. He swore that I would wear it, so here I am wearing it. Actually wore it for warmth, and I stepped outside, and this was his grandfather's, who lived in Hawaii, and my friend grew up there. And so when his grandfather passed, some of his clothes that he'd been carrying around, and he let me have this. I'm a little bit too small for it, or too big for it. It's a little small for me, but it's an authentic golfer's jacket from the old school days. And I was just trying to picture some old guy wearing this thing. And anyway, when I turned the camera on and I saw the jacket, it instantly gave me my subject for the morning, which is image and looks. I'm sorry, I'm still groggy. I just woke up. It's like 6:30. But my mind's always working. I can't stop. At night I can relax, but in the morning I wake up and instantly I'm going. My mind's thinking about a million different things. And so anyway, I was just thinking a minute ago about the clothing issue, and it reminded me of Abercrombie and Fitch, that shit thing that I'd seen on this documentary the other day about how they don't want fat people in their clothes, and how the CEO says, we don't make our clothes for fat people. We don't want them to be seen in our clothes. And he says we're an exclusive company, only for certain people, stuff like that. And it just pissed me off because here I am, seeing these kids wearing these Aeropostale shirts, these what are the other ones? I don't even remember the names of them. Tommy Hilfiger, right, was the big one in the day, and now everybody's moved on to these new jackets and coats that have these giant shit splayed across the front of them. And it's Abercrombie and Bitch, it's everything about it is elitist, exclusivist. It's a group, a club, an exclusive group that says, hey, we only take certain people. And this isn't just Abercrombie and Fitch. I'm just using them as an example. Several clothing companies have taken that approach to saying, these are the types of people we expect to see in our clothes. They don't say it out loud, but through the modeling and, advertisements, you can see what they're trying to accomplish. They're putting an image out there. It's sad. And unfortunately, the kids are buying it. And this is the thing. I like to think that kids are smarter than that, and some of them aren't. It's not their fault. When I look back, I was a smart kid. I was a smart teenager. But I still bought into the style thing. I still had to, look cool, even in my group. Now, to me, that meant wearing a pair of skater pants and a Metallica t-shirt and having my skateboard, my hair down to my ass. That was my style. But it was my style. And I didn't, it wasn't as individualistic as people would like to think. The long hair was declaring something. I was making a statement, whether I knew it or not. The one thing that came to mind that I wanted to move to from this whole thing was, and this is bad. I read an article, or rather my mom, I think, told me about this. Phone shaming. Now, I don't watch the news and I don't watch network television, so I never see what's going on in the menial news. However, I do look at the headlines, so I know what's happening. And I just find that, nothing I've watched on the local news in the last 20 years has ever done anything to help me. So, anyway, my mom said she was watching it, and there was a story about this football player that had a flip phone, an old flip phone he was using. And apparently, Twitter, this is why I don't watch the news, because this is what they consider news. Apparently, people blew up Twitter and social media over this football player's phone, saying, how could he have an old flip phone? I can't believe he doesn't have a newer phone. and they're calling it phone shaming. You know, and I guess I'm just really fortunate to be out of that, like that tech group, and I really wonder how many people are actually in this obsessive tech group. Everybody wants to have a cool device. I mean, that they can use for something. Maybe not for the act of it being cool, but for the fact that it has more features. It's more modern. You can use it for more stuff. But that's valid when you're upgrading from, say, a flip phone to a touch screen, you know, or something that you can put all your music on and, you know, finally utilize. But when you're going from an iPhone 5 to an iPhone 6 merely because it comes out, it's just stupid. It's completely dumb. A complete idiot goes out and buys a brand new phone full price. I just don't get it. And, you know, I bite my tongue thinking, well, you know, maybe there's something to it. Maybe there's something people are gaining. But no, it's all about pride and showing off. There's absolutely no reason to upgrade to the newest iPhone ever, because it rarely has anything. And I know there are people out there who will say, no, you're wrong. No, it has this new feature, or this feature's better. But the truth is that feature really worth $500? It doesn't matter how much you pay for it. The point is that as long as we're not utilizing our old devices for as long as we possibly can, as long as we're not utilizing our old clothes for as long as we can, such as wearing grandfather jackets, or an old Dr. Zog's, Mr. Zog's sex wax shirt from the old school days. You know, these. I carried my clothes for a long time, and I'm older now, so you know, of course that happens. But even when I was younger, you know, I still have some of my clothes from then. And my phone is it's an Android, but it's an older one, you know, and I bought it used off Craigslist like 2 years ago, after somebody had decided they wanted to upgrade to a newer phone. So I'm buying an already outdated phone a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I'm still using it. They're constantly sending me emails to upgrade, you know. Introducing the new Galaxy Samsung fucking, you know, I just don't give a shit. And I guess the reason why I'm speaking on this issue is not to tell people, oh, you shouldn't buy new things because it's a waste of your money, or because it makes you look like an idiot. Consider the angle of every time you buy a new phone, that old phone that got manufactured in some facility with probably poor working conditions just gets thrown in a box, maybe refurbished, maybe not, but everything's disposable. The more things that you can keep and utilize and buy secondhand, whether it be at Goodwill or garage sale or Craigslist, this is the future of our species, is reusing things. We have become so content with just wasting everything, all our resources, and you see it in the political arena strongly that we don't look towards tomorrow at all. We pretend like we do. We know there's global warming going on. We know that there's, you know, various, intense changes going on the planet, but we ignore it because it affects our way of life if we decide to abide by trying to change anything. This means we have to take personal initiative. I'll give you an example. And it's easy for everybody to stand up as a group and say, hey, we need to stop burning fossil fuels. It's a lot harder for the individual to say, I'm going to give up my car and start taking the bus. It's a difficult decision, and like years ago I went through this thing where I wanted to get rid of all, you know, I just didn't want to have a car, but having kids and a family, you know, with a career, a job to get to, I was a carpenter, and I had to carry all my tools with me, and I remember thinking, how can I get around having to have a gas guzzler car? And this was around the time when the gas prices were really high, and I realized to me it wasn't just about the present and saving money. It was about the future and seeing where we were going and seeing what things are going to be like. So it's a roundabout way for me of saying, you know, if you're concerned about whether you have the newest, you know, the newest Abercrombie and Fitch catalog and the newest clothes, or if you're concerned whether you have the newest phone, or even worse, and this is one I haven't mentioned yet, but the newest car, and that one to me is really pathetic. It shows a lack of understanding of how, let's put it this way, I've never understood how a person can go out and buy a car for $20,000 or $50,000 when the next year they could go out and buy it slightly used for a third of the price or a half of the price. There's no other reason except for selfishness. And when you ask people, why did you buy a new car? They'll say, well, I've never had a new car. Okay, is that an excuse? Is that a reason to have to buy a brand new car? Well, maybe for some people. A person might say, well, I just like to make sure that it hasn't gotten ruined, nobody's gotten into it, and, maybe burned it out or anything, I don't know. Then I know the transmission's good. That's not true either. Many of the mistakes and problems with cars are discovered in the first year. Second of all, people have already driven your car around when they were test driving it. There's no such thing as a new car. But as long as it has that plate and that label that says, hey, this is the new model, people want to buy it and they want to show off. And if you're buying a new car for $12,000, $15,000, that's one thing. If you're buying a new car for $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 or more, you're a complete fool. And you're buying into the problem, and you're making things worse. Now, I'm not one to sit and point the finger, because I know there are people out there that have a new car, they're saying, oh, bullshit, or, there's probably somebody out there who's wearing Abercrombie and Fitch right now who just never really thought about it that way, or maybe they did and they don't care. And that's your choice. You're an individual. Everyone has the choice to wear what they want, to drive what they want, and to talk on whatever phone they want. I'm just as guilty as the next person of buying bigger and better things when I feel like it will benefit me or I can use them. But it's never done to show off. Because things don't improve who you are, ever. It's an image that we have of, it's a complete delusion to think that wearing styles makes us look better. But at the same time, I have to say, because I've been through this I've been thinking about this for a long time. I went through a phase where I was totally opposed to all style. Then I talked to somebody, quite a few people about it, and realized that style is, it's our way of peacocking. That's what they call it. Kids do peacocking. It's where you're wearing your fancy clothes, your baggy stuff, whatever was in style, and you're trying to attract a mate. Just like peacock feathers. And we all do it at all ages. So sometimes it's to attract a mate, but often people are peacocking when they're married, stuff like that. So who are you trying to attract at that point? Are you just trying to show everybody that, that you're better, or are you looking for a new mate, or, whatever the reason may be. But a lot of the times people don't even realize they're doing it. And but when I started to understand that it's part of life, that's when I don't go around pointing the finger saying, hey, you shouldn't look nice, because that's not what my point is. Or you shouldn't dress nice. But just that maybe you could dress just as nice without a name brand for half the price. Or, maybe you could drive a car that's almost as new for half the price. And it's not about the price that you're saving as much as helping to pick up the slack on what other people throw away. There are people who lease a brand new car for a year and toss it. Not literally, but, I don't want this anymore. I want whatever's newer and bigger and better. And the only way for us to conquer that ignorance is, rather than aspiring to be like them and have those things, we aspire to show them the right way and show society that having money is something to scoff at, not something to be proud of. And if you do have money, then you use it properly and wisely, hopefully, but it's never been about the money. It's about what you do with it. And the extravagant, I won't even get into the rich, because that's a completely different side of it that I don't even want to get into. I'll start talking about people like Trump and, the exorbitant amounts of money these people waste. But not only that, the people they force out of their homes so they can have a bigger golf course or something different. People with money and stuff become associated with their groups and separate themselves from the rest of society. And then we become just the menial worker bees, and we're to be treaded on, where rich people can get what they want. I call bullshit. I challenge those idiots to a battle of wits, or maybe a battle of values. But anyway, I guess that's all I really had to say. Just wanted to say, conquer the style, conquer your desire to look like something or be something that you're not. And that's easier said than done. I know that, because there are kids out there who have low self-esteem, who don't like who they are. Well, I'm here to tell you to like who you are, because you're the only one that's going to like you. And if you don't, nobody else is going to. It's an important thing to remember. You can't just put yourself down and expect people to prop you back up, is what I'm saying. A lot of people say, oh, poor me, woe is me, all these problems I have. And rather than attracting people to pat you on the back and say, it's okay, you're a good guy, people start to believe what you're saying. So hold yourself as the person you want to be. But don't let the name brand describe who you are. Anyway, peace out.